If you're watching this, chances are you're still thinking about them. You're still replaying old messages, still wondering what went wrong, still checking their social media, hoping just maybe they'll text you first. But here's the harsh truth. They're not coming back. Not the way you want. Not unless you flip the script. Right now, your ex isn't missing you. They're comfortable. They feel like they've got the upper hand. Maybe they even think you'll chase them. But what if I told you there's a way to completely flip the dynamic and make them regret ever letting you go? No, this isn't about begging. It's not about texting some needy paragraph at 2 a.m. It's not about closure. This is about psychology, power, control, and attraction. Because here's the secret no one talks about. Exes don't come back because you convince them. They come back because they feel like they've lost something valuable. And that's where you come in. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Just one powerful move that makes 99% of exes start thinking about you non-stop. Obsessively. Not because you asked for it, but because you became unignorable. If you've been stuck wondering why your ex seems to be doing just fine without you, or why no contact isn't working like they said it would, this video is the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand what makes an ex come crawling back. You'll know how to make them chase you. So let's get real for a second. If your ex hasn't reached out yet, it's not because they don't remember you. It's not because they've moved on in the way social media makes it seem. And it's definitely not because they're completely over you. The truth is far more complicated and honestly more painful to admit. Your ex isn't reaching out right now because they don't have to. They're sitting in a position of emotional comfort and control. They may be curious about you. They may even still think about you from time to time. But if they believe you're still emotionally available, still waiting, still hoping, they feel no urgency to act. In their mind, they've got time, they've got the power, they believe if they ever wanted to come back, you'd be there. That belief, it's like a safety net. It allows them to explore, to date other people, to heal at their own pace, without any fear of losing you completely. And that's why silence doesn't always mean absence of emotion. It often means presence of ego. A lot of people think that if someone truly cared, they'd come back right away. But in reality, emotional detachment doesn't always happen instantly. Your ex may still feel something for you, but those feelings are buried under layers of pride, confusion, guilt, or even resentment. Sometimes the silence is just a shield, a way to maintain control or avoid facing their own emotional mess. And here's the brutal part. Your ex is also watching quietly. Passively, they're keeping tabs through mutual friends, lurking your stories, or even revisiting your old photos. But as long as you appear stuck, as long as your actions confirm their belief that you're still holding on, they'll stay silent. Not because they don't care, but because they know they can. This is why begging, over-texting, posting thirst traps, or trying to make them jealous usually backfires. It tells them you're emotionally available without them needing to earn it. And let me tell you something, when someone doesn't have to fight for your energy, they won't value it. So if you've been waiting on that message, if you're glued to your phone, hoping for a hey, or I've been thinking about you, you need to understand that silence doesn't mean the end of the story. It just means your next move has to break the pattern. And don't worry, we're getting there. In just a few minutes, I'm going to reveal the one thing that makes 99% of exes finally reach out. It's not magic. It's not manipulation. It's a subtle psychological shift that changes everything. And once you do it, you'll no longer be the one waiting. You'll be the one in control. Stay tuned, because this is where the game really begins. So what is the one thing that changes everything? What's the move that makes 99% of exes suddenly start to wonder what you're up to, why you're not chasing them, and whether they made the biggest mistake of their life? It's simple, but it's not easy. The one thing that flips the script is this. You stop trying to get them back completely. And I don't mean fake it. I mean a total energetic shift, mentally, emotionally, physically, where you stop chasing the idea of reconciliation and start pouring that energy back into yourself. Here's why it works. When you stop trying, you're no longer feeding their ego. You're no longer confirming their internal belief that they still have access to you, that they're still wanted, that they're in control. And without that validation, a void starts to grow. That void's uncomfortable. It creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is what fuels curiosity, desire, even obsession. See, human psychology is wild. We don't crave what's handed to us. We crave what we're uncertain about, what we can't fully figure out, what slips just out of reach. The moment your ex senses that you're genuinely letting go, not pretending, not posting quotes about healing while still hoping they'll come back, but actually detaching, it disrupts the pattern. Suddenly you're not predictable anymore. You're not giving them the emotional reactions they're used to. You're not checking in, liking their posts, or leaving doors open. That silence, it starts to feel different. It starts to feel real. And that scares them. Because here's the real truth. People don't chase what they already have. They chase what they think they're losing. And when your ex feels that energetic shift, when they realize that they're not the center of your thoughts anymore, that you're rebuilding, evolving, glowing up without them, it hits them in a way nothing else could. That's when the memories come flooding back. That's when they check your profile more often. That's when they start asking mutual friends how you're doing. That's when the late night "hey stranger" texts appear out of nowhere. But this doesn't happen if you're faking it. If you're doing this just to get a reaction, they'll sense it. There has to be real. And trust me, it's not just about making your ex regret losing you. It's about stepping back into your power. It's about reminding yourself that you were never meant to beg for love, to chase someone who couldn't see your worth. The moment you stop trying to get them back is the moment everything begins to shift. Not because you've given up, but because you've leveled up. And once you make this change, once you stop being available, stop being predictable, and start being mysterious and magnetic, your ex will start to feel the loss. And that's when they come back. Not when you ask for it, but when they can't stop thinking about you. Keep watching. The next part will show you exactly how to trigger that effect step by step. So now you might be wondering, why does this actually work? What is it about pulling back and letting go that makes your ex suddenly feel regret or start obsessing over where you went? It all comes down to two powerful emotional triggers, regret and curiosity. These are the emotions that rewrite memory, distort logic, and make someone suddenly romanticize a relationship they once walked away from. When you stop showing up, when you stop feeding their ego, their mind starts to fill in the blanks. That silence, it becomes loud. Your absence becomes noticeable. And where there was once certainty, they'll always want me. They'll wait for me. Now there's doubt. That doubt is the spark that ignites curiosity. Your ex begins to ask themselves questions they haven't considered in weeks or even months. Why haven't I heard from them? Did they meet someone new? What if they've moved on? Curiosity is powerful because it leads people to chase answers. And in relationships, the unknown is often more magnetic than the known. You're no longer predictable, and that unpredictability breeds fascination. It's not about games, it's about breaking the cycle they got comfortable in. Now, layer that with regret. As soon as your ex starts to sense you've emotionally detached, regret creeps in. It doesn't always come in the form of some big dramatic realization. Sometimes it's subtle, a random memory, a photo, a scent, a song that reminds them of you. And suddenly they miss something they once took for granted. And here's the twist. They don't miss the version of you that waited around. They miss the version of you who was confident, radiant, independent. The version they're afraid someone else might be appreciating now. When regret and curiosity mix, it becomes irresistible. That's what triggers the late night texts. That's what makes them circle back. Not because you chased them, but because you became a mystery they couldn't solve and a connection they're suddenly terrified of losing forever. That's the power of your silence. That's the power of your glow up. And in the next part, we'll break down exactly why this works so well psychologically and how to stay in control once they do come back around. Let's talk about the real reason this works. Not from guesswork, but from pure psychology. See, human beings are wired for connection, validation, and emotional closure, but we are also wired to crave what we can't fully have. That's why the second you pull back, your ex doesn't just notice the silence, they feel it. It all starts with a psychological principle called reactance. It's our natural response to perceived loss of freedom or control. When someone feels like they've lost access to you, When they can no longer predict your emotions, your availability, or your reactions, their brain starts to rebel. They want back what they believe is slipping away. And in your ex's case, that want starts as curiosity and quickly grows into desire.
And combine that with intermittent reinforcement, a pattern where emotional rewards are unpredictable. Think of it like a slot machine. You don't know when the payoff is coming, but when it does, it can sink. Relationships with emotional highs and lows often become addictive. Your ex might remember the good times more intensely because they're no longer getting that emotional fix from you.
Then there's the Zeigarnik effect, the brain's tendency to remember incomplete or interrupted experiences more vividly than completed ones. Your ex didn't get closure. They didn't get the emotional wrap-up they expected. And now, that lack of resolution becomes mental clutter. Your unfinished business in their mind. An unfinished business nags at us. It loops in the background, sometimes for months or even years. And finally, let's not forget ego. Your ex might not even be conscious of it. But when they see you moving on, especially without a breakdown, a cry for attention, or a public drama, they start to feel something they didn't expect. Rejection. That hits the ego hard. And nothing wakes people up faster than realizing the person they thought they'd moved on from is actually becoming unavailable. These psychological forces work silently, but powerfully. And when used right, not manipulatively, but with intention, they allow you to take back your power, your energy, and your peace, while your ex starts feeling everything you were once feeling. In the next section, I'll walk you through the exact things to avoid, the common mistakes that ruin your power, and send your ex running in the opposite direction. Don't miss it. In the next section, I'll walk you through the exact things to avoid, the common mistakes that ruin your power, and send your ex running in the opposite direction. Don't miss it. All right, let's get into the real talk, because this is where most people mess up. You can do everything right for a while, stay silent, level up, focus on yourself, but one wrong move can reset the whole process. So if you truly want your ex to come back, and more importantly, to come back chasing you, there are a few critical things you absolutely cannot do. First mistake, reaching out too soon. This one's the most common. You're doing great, staying quiet, and then boom, one lonely night, you send that, hey, just checking in text. Sounds harmless, right? But to your ex, that's confirmation. It tells them you're still emotionally available. It feeds their ego. And worst of all, it puts them right back in control. Once they know you're still there, the urgency disappears. The mystery vanishes. You just gave them the closure they never. Second mistake, posting thirst traps or look how happy I am, content with the goal of making them jealous. Listen, we've all been tempted to post that fire selfie or that night out video, hoping they'll see it and spiral. But if it's coming from a place of performance, they'll sense it, and it doesn't make you look high value. It makes you look calculated. Nothing screams, I'm still not over you, like a desperate attempt to prove you are. Oh, third mistake, stalking their social media or reacting to their posts. Every like, every view, every subtle story reply tells your ex one thing: you're still watching. It gives them a quiet power. And trust me, the people who are truly missed the most, they disappear. Their energy shifts. Their name doesn't pop up anymore. And that's what creates impact, not the emoji reaction you think is casual. Fourth mistake, trying to stay friends. This one's a trap, disguised as maturity. But staying friends with someone you still have feelings for is emotional self-sabotage. It gives them the benefits of your connection without any of the commitment. And worse, it usually ends with them moving on while you're stuck in emotional limbo, clinging to crumbs of attention. If your goal is to get them back, not to be their therapist or backup plan, do not play the friend role. Fifth mistake, over-explaining your worth. Maybe you've sent that long message pouring your heart out, listing all the reasons they shouldn't have walked away. But here's the truth. People don't come back because of logic. They come back because they feel your absence, not because you convince them. If you have to remind someone of your value, they've already forgotten it. You show your worth through silence, growth, and elevation, not paragraphs. Final mistake, making your whole healing journey about them. This is subtle but important. You say you're moving on, glowing up, getting fit, chasing goals, but deep down it's all to win them back. And your energy reflects that. Healing should be for you. Growth should be authentic, because when it's real, it becomes magnetic. But when it's performative, it becomes transparent. And your ex won't be attracted to a version of you that's still orbiting around them. Here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Getting your ex back isn't about chasing, convincing, or proving. It's about becoming someone they no longer recognize, because the old version of you was available, predictable, maybe even a little desperate. But the new version, the one that doesn't reach out, doesn't explain, doesn't compete, that version is rare. That version is desired. So if you truly want them to come back, stop trying so hard to be seen. Instead, become someone they can't help but notice. In the next section, I'll share real-life examples, success stories from people who used this exact method, and what happened when they finally let go. Well, let's get into the real proof, because theory is great, but results are what matter. I've seen this approach work over and over again, not just in some textbook or psychological breakdown, but in real life, with real people, just like you. And when they stopped chasing, stopped over-explaining, and focused on this one powerful shift, everything changed. Let's start with Amanda. She was in a 3-year relationship with a guy she thought was the one. Out of nowhere, he said he needed space. Classic line, right? She begged. She reasoned. She even wrote him a letter. Nothing worked. So finally, she took a deep breath and let go. No text, no Instagram posts aimed at him. She went full ghost, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. 3 weeks later, he texted her, "Hey, just thinking about you. Hope you're good." She didn't answer, not right away. She waited 2 days. When she did respond, it was light, polite, but distant. And suddenly, he was the one chasing her. Why? Because her silence said more than her words ever could. And now, they're back together, but on her terms. Then there's Jordan. He went through a breakup that crushed him. He was blocked on everything. She told him she needed time to find herself, which he later realized was code for "I think I can do better." But instead of spiraling, he did something different. He joined a gym. He started going out, not to be flashy, but to reclaim his identity. He completely stopped watching her stories, engaging with her friends, or posting for validation. 5 weeks in, she unblocked him, then viewed every one of his stories, then liked the photo from 2 months ago. That same night, she messaged, "Miss your energy. Can we talk?" She felt the shift. He became unpredictable, and she started to regret letting go of someone who clearly didn't need her to thrive. And then there's Sophia. Her ex told her straight up, "I just don't feel the spark anymore." Brutal, right? But instead of spiraling, she did something most people don't have the strength to do. She vanished, blocked him everywhere, not to hurt him, but to protect her peace. She journaled, traveled, started a side hustle, and one day she stopped checking her phone for him. 6 weeks later, she bumped into him at a friend's birthday, and he said this exact sentence, "You're glowing. I don't know what it is, but you look different." That's not a compliment. That's regret speaking. That's curiosity creeping back in. All three of these people had one thing in common. They stopped trying to get their exes back and started focusing on becoming a version of themselves that didn't depend on anyone's approval. And that's when the magic happened. Not because of a trick, not because of a text game, but because real power is silent, focused, and undeniable. So if you're sitting there wondering, will this actually work for me? Here's your answer. Yes, if you commit to the shift, let them wonder where you went. Let them feel your absence. Let them sit in the space where your energy used to be, because the people who truly miss you won't stay silent forever. They'll come back if they believe you've truly moved on. And in the next section, we'll break down what to do once they reach out. How to respond without giving your power away. So you've done the work. You pulled your energy back. You stopped chasing. You healed in silence, leveled up. And now it happens. They reach out. Maybe it's a casual, "Hey," maybe it's a like on your old photo. Maybe it's that late night "I miss you" text, and suddenly your heart's racing. You want to respond. You want to know what it means. But hold up, this is the moment that defines everything. Because what you do next, it's either going to reinforce your power or hand it right back to them. Here's your step-by-step action plan to handle it with total confidence and emotional intelligence. Step 1, don't react instantly. I get it. Seeing their name pop up can hit like a wave, but this isn't about being petty. It's about control. Take a breath. Let a few hours pass. Create space. Why? Because instant replies signal that you've been waiting. A delayed response shows you're not sitting by the phone. You're unbothered, and that's powerful. Step 2, keep your reply neutral, short, and chill. Don't come in with emotion. No OMG, I missed you, or where have you been? Keep it casual. Something like, hey, hope you're doing well. Been a while. That tone is gold. It's warm, but not overly available. It puts the pressure back on them to drive the conversation. And it lets them wonder where you're at emotionally. Step 3, let them show intention. The biggest mistake, taking breadcrumbs and turning them into a loaf. Don't assume one message means they want to get back together. Let them show you. Are they asking questions? Are they consistent? Are they bringing up the past? Don't fill in blanks with fantasy. Let them prove they deserve a response, let alone a second chance. Step 4, mirror their energy, not their words. If they're vague, you stay vague. If they're open, you can lean in slightly, but always hold your ground. If they're flirting but not serious, don't give more than they're giving. You're not here to chase clarity. You're here to receive honesty. Step 5, don't rush to meet up. Even if they hint at seeing you, keep it cool. Suggest something simple. No pressure. If and only if it feels right to you. Don't go right back into relationship mode. You're in evaluation mode now. You're not the same person they left, and they need to earn access to this new version of you. Step 6, have your boundaries locked in. This is where people slip. If your ex wants to come back into your life, they need to come correct. No confusion. No situationships. You're not restarting something that broke. You're starting something entirely different based on growth and respect. If they can't meet you there, keep it moving. Step 7, stay centered in your power. Remember why you pulled away in the first place. Remember who you've become since then. This isn't about proving anything. This is about aligning with someone who recognizes your value, not just now, but consistently. Step 7, stay centered in your power. Remember why you pulled away in the first place. Remember who you've become since then. This isn't about proving anything. This is about aligning with someone who recognizes your value, not just now, but consistently. And if they don't rise to the occasion, that's your clarity. That's your closure. Because sometimes the win isn't getting them back. It's seeing who they really are when you finally stop chasing. You've already done the hard part. You've healed, detached, and reclaimed your energy. This final step is just about protecting what you've built and never lowering your standards for someone who once let you go. In the final part, we'll wrap it all up with the ultimate mindset shift, the one belief you must lock into if you want lasting confidence and emotional freedom no matter what happens next. You made it to the end, and I need you to hear this clearly. This was never just about getting your ex back. This journey, it's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need anyone to feel whole, but who becomes so magnetic, grounded, and confident that people feel your absence when you're no longer available. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you. When you let go of chasing, you make room for receiving. When you stop pouring your love into someone who couldn't hold it, you start pouring it back into yourself. And that glow, that shift, that energy, it speaks louder than any text, any post, or any conversation ever could. You don't win by proving your worth to someone who didn't see it. You win by becoming someone who never questions it again. So if you're still hurting, if you're still wondering whether this is worth it, let me remind you of something. Healing is never wasted time. Choosing peace over chaos is never a weak move. Pulling back isn't about being cold or petty. It's about preserving your power, your heart, your future. Every time you wanted to reach out and didn't, that was strength. Every time you chose silence over begging, that was growth. And every time you chose yourself, even when it was hard, that was self-respect in action. You're not the same person who was abandoned, overlooked, or left unread. You're becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more centered. Someone who no longer fears letting go. Because you know that what's meant for you will never require chasing. It will meet you in your wholeness. And if your ex realizes that and comes back, amazing. But this time you get to decide if they're enough for you, not the other way around. And if they don't come back, that's not rejection. That's redirection. That's life clearing space for someone who sees you the first time, someone who doesn't need to lose you to realize your worth, someone who doesn't play games with your heart because they're too busy protecting it. Let this be the moment you stop giving your power away. Let this be the moment you understand that love isn't about proving, it's about aligning. The version of you that was over-explaining, waiting for texts, refreshing stories, begging for closure, that version is done. You don't owe anyone access to your energy just because you used to give it freely. From here on out, you protect your space like it's sacred, because it is. You're not here to be an option. You're not here to compete. You're here to be chosen, cherished, and respected. So walk forward with your head high, your heart open, and your standards untouchable, because you don't attract love by chasing it. You attract it by embodying it. Thank you for sticking with me through this journey. I see you, I believe in you, and I promise you, when you shift your mindset, your whole life starts to shift with it. Now go be the version of you that they can't stop thinking about. Not for them, but for you.